Right, so, this isn't World. Let's be honest with that one. But this time, we're finally in Monster Hunter Wilds. And thanks to the release of the newest Street Fighter collaboration pack, we've now got Gestures. A damaging gesture in this game. So, I've taken quite a bit of time today to revise, learn, and read about the gestures on hand. But the biggest thing about them is that the gestures have changed. So while World had certain attributes to them, Wilds has changed the damaging gestures. So let's start with the top one. The good old fashioned Hadoken. Now, admittedly, it's going to throw out the normal fireballs. However, we no longer have a fixed damage amount. But, on the plus side, it does also create wounds still. So, while we keep throwing Hadokens towards a weak spot and then creating a wound, we then get the increased damage value. Bearing in mind, the gestures do not increase in power with any type of upgrade so far. It is completely a flat rate damage that is given to us on the game. But, as you can see, my Hadokens are throwing out a lot quicker now. So instead of having an animation cancel, I can actually go straight into another Hadoken quicker. So that's a plus side. Another side, however, is that the distance on hand for Hadokens has changed. So, beforehand, it would only go for a certain amount of distance. Now, it travels further. So I can, if so need be, play the long range game. But, this comes at a drawback. The Hadoken now acts like any other weapon would. So, if you're hitting a monster at a weak point, it does mean that it becomes a much lower damage value. So, while you will get the high value damage if you hit the weak spots, as long as you're hitting the non-weak spots, you're not going to get much damage. So, following that, we also have the Shoryuken. Now, as you see, World, it does take stamina to use the Shoryuken, but it also has the same situation. Every use will be between 8 to 10 damage on hand for this dummy. I have done some tests, and unfortunately, monsters do have different scaling of damage. So, that's going to make things interesting. So while it does do some damage, it is still a matter of, well, using it sparingly. But, as with the Hadoken, it does create wounds. You just have to use it practically. Then we get to the third gesture, and this one, admittedly, I like the idea of. The Tatsumaki Senpuken. So, as you see, 9 damage. But, as long as I'm close to an enemy, it will do a 2-hit string. But, is stamina using. So, if I so wish to, I can do that one into Tatsu. But, if I'm close by and then go into it, I do travel. So that's the plus side of the Tatsu. It does travel. And yeah, as I said, it has the same rules on hand. It will wound, and it does pick up the damage. But as with the others, if not on a weak point, it will do low damage. So right now, while it is a good move, the idea would be to use it as a defensive option, or a dodge, pretty much. So while I can roll, the Tatsu will be the better option, so that way I can move out the way while doing more damage. That is the 3 paid gestures. Now the last one, of course, is the gesture you can obtain by doing the quest on hand, the Gou Shoryu. However, we can't access it. The reason why is because, unfortunately, we're not demon. So give me a second and we'll change that right now. Right, so before I start as Gouki, let me advise one little difference. When you're wearing the Gouki armour, you have the attribute called Master of the Fist. As it states, increases power or special actions. Drive impacts can trigger offset attacks and further increase the power of offset attacks. Now I have to discuss about this because when we're wearing Gouki's armour, the gestures do gain a small bonus in attack. Only a small bonus, so this is the only set that can directly affect and change the abilities on hand. Now, with the Gou Shoryu, the Gou Shoryu works the same as you would expect for the Shoryuken. However, it reaches a much higher distance, but still does the same amount of, like, stamina cost. So, yeah, it is still just the standard Shoryuken at a much higher rate of damage because of wearing the Gouki armor. So, yeah, that practically covers the gestures on hand. And currently, the only 4 gestures that does damage, starting from the Hadoken, Tatsumaki Senpukyu, the Shoryuken, and the Gou Shoryu. Now, of course, that's just the gestures. But we ain't just gonna stop with the gestures alone. We will talk about the third part for Akuma. Now, as you can see, playing as Gouki or Akuma, we do have the assisted combo Akuma, the Go Hadoken, and the Drive Impact, all given to us available as the Gouki outfit. Now, starting with the obvious, the Go Hadoken. While it is technically classified as a slinger ammo, it is a unique slinger ammo. So you will follow fireballs. It has the same attribute as the standard Hadoken gesture, but at a much higher rate of damage and different values of, well, quick charge. But the Go Hadoken also has the same attributes in Street Fighter 6, where the longer you hold it, the powerful it becomes. Now, of course, you can time it like you do in the Street Fighter 6 to make a quicker Hadoken. So you get the standard light variant, medium variant, and then heavy variant. Or pretty much light to heavy variant. Now, that is what the Gou Shoryu Hadoken is able to be done. Now, following from this, the assisted combo Akuma. Now, Akuma has 3 set combos. You got the standard square combo on hand, which goes like this. So you got the assisted combo of light punch, light kick into heavy Go Hado. Following from that one, you can go into the medium the medium input. So you go standing punch, fisher impact, and then adamant flame, which can produce that kind of effect against the monster. Now, the third one, however, is complete kick based. So standing heavy, medium into Tatsumaki Senpuken, or Tatsumaki Sankyokun, which is Akuma's variant. Now, Akuma has 2 hidden abilities given to him at this time, one of which I'm not great on the input. So, practically speaking, if you were to do the inputs for the, right, you need to do either the Shoryuken input or Hadoken input, but you can then do it with a triangle input, and you can then create the EX Gou Shoryu. But, for me, I make it a little bit easier, because thankfully what you can do is, while holding square at the last step, you go like this. 1, 2, 3. And it then triggers the EX version, therefore cutting out the input base. Now, thankfully, you can see I've created a wound. Gouki also has the drive impact. So, sorry. While using the drive impact in combos, you then create this. You drive impact in Gou Satsu, or the Raging Demon. However, that's not the only available ability to him. So, with a new wound opened up, we have to wait for the bard to revive. But while I'm at it, while the bar is reviving, you can still use the EX Shoryu. Now, once the bar is filled, you can then create the same input. Bearing in mind, this is Marvel inputs. So, square, square, triangle, circle. And in doing that, you do the Raging Demon Marvel style. So, that overall is Akuma. He does thankfully have a ability, or not ability, a play guide. So if you go into basic controls, he has his own unique attributes to actually read up. So you will see his abilities, his assisted combo, 1, 2, and 3, the drive impact, the Shun Goku Tatsu, while also stating, and I quote this, there's another way to pull off the move. The drive gauge, and of course the Gou Shoryu, with the Gou Hado also made mention. But yeah, currently, that is the available gestures that can be used for attacking, but also the assisted combo Akuma. Now, I will completely admit, Akuma's combos are practically a weapon in their own right. So I do not know if you want to count this as gestures, but it could be said that it's not a gesture, it's a moveset and or a weapon. Well, you could say that it uses the same attributes as Geralt of Rivia's Witcher abilities of the Flame Sigil. It is very much down to opinion, but to me, I find it's a bit of a grey area, but unless I get more information from the developers themselves or anyone on hand, I personally think this is directly a weapon. But it might get used a bit further in time, as I'm not gonna lie, the assisted combo is such a fun ability. And of course, I forgot to make mention about one key detail about it, that while it is all related to all these moves, the ability on hand is that when you're wearing the armour, your attack power does increase, but it also increases depending on the weapons you have on hand. So your attack power can go higher depending on your attack power and affinity. I've made a small build on hand so far, and I do believe that I could do better, but I don't know further if I can do better with this. People can make their own builds, and it could be changed up. But anyway, for the meantime, that was the Gestures and Akuma showcase, I guess. And I would say, in doing so, it gives me the idea to say, we're going to see if gestures can be done in Monster Hunter Wilds. So please look forward to that, everyone. And for the meantime, I'll catch y'all later.